All right, we're live here, episode 28 of Beyond the Game. Welcome.
Thank you.
Let's talk about why we have our two amazing, beautifully coordinated, beautifully dressed, beautiful people. We'll talk about what we're talking about tonight, why we're here. I think from my perspective, this night is really about girls lacrosse in general. We're going to talk about high school, college, club. We're going to talk about the women's soccer team. We have to, I think.
Oh yeah.
Right? It's only like
USA.
Yeah. USA all the way.
Absolutely.
And so tonight's all about the girls, and that's why we got you on tonight. And I also think when it comes to like club lacrosse, this is kind of that time of the year where some of the seasons are wrapping up. Parents are like, maybe for the first time they have a young daughter that's like, oh, she's really into lacrosse. She wants to play. Where do I go? What team do I play for? And then there's also like the whole recruiting side of things, which Jess and Diana, you guys are both going through right now. So we'll talk about that. But before we get into the show, let's do an intro. So we're going to start with you, Jess. Just talk about, just say your name, where you're from, what high school program you coach for, just kind of like what you do, and then we'll go from there. You're good.
My name is Jess Volpe. I played at Stony Brook University. Prior to that, I graduated from Hauppauge High School, where I played lacrosse. I ran track. I then continued on, played at Stony Brook. After my career at Stony Brook was over, I actually played for the professional league. I played for both leagues, so I played for Philly the first year, and then the second year I played for Upstate Pride. It was an incredible experience. I now coach Harborfields High School, the varsity team, and I also coach the 22 FLG team.
Awesome. Di, give a quick intro.
Yeah, so I just graduated from Mercyhurst University this year out in Pennsylvania, Division II school. I've been coaching for FLG now for 3 years. I have the 2020s this summer, so only a little bit left with them, which is sad. But I went to Clark High School in Nassau County. I played field hockey, basketball, and lacrosse there, and here I am now.
Being that you just graduated, what are you up to now? What are you going to do?
I'm going to start grad school in the fall at Springfield College, where I'm also going to be helping coach there also.
So you're thinking about college coaching, huh?
I am.
Cool. So we have a future college coach, or I guess you are a college coach.
Yeah.
You know, for the, I guess, if I'm allowed to say
Sorta,
that yet, sort of, kind of. And then we obviously have a high school coach, and Jess, who is also a professional player, which is pretty neat. Yeah, it's just cool to see at the professional level what's happening, like with the PLL and the WPLL. It seems like it's really taken off,
It's grown
right?
so much. And I feel like in the beginning there weren't many people that kind of tuned into it, and now it's just, you know, everyone's looking out for, you know, all of the games, and it's incredible.
They're doing some really amazing stuff from a media perspective, like stuff we got to show Cliff, to our producer, because they're doing, like, for the first time, Cliff, at these professional games, they have microphones in specific players' helmets, and they're having conversations while the game's going on the field. And, like, they've never done that before in pro sports, so they do some pretty neat stuff, And so from a media side of things, from a talent perspective, and it's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah.
So, so let's talk a little bit about, let's talk about, like, high school lacrosse for a second. So, Jess, you're a coach, and I think parents who might have a daughter who plays high school lacrosse or is eventually going to play in the next couple of years may not know the difference between like club and high school. So just talk about like what you do with your high school team, and then maybe we can dive into the differences between like high school and club in general.
Yeah. So I think it's awesome once we start our high school season, because everyone's coming off of, you know, doing winter lacrosse with their club teams, and we're doing winter games here and there, and then everyone comes together and everyone's been growing all year, and then you put them all together on the field and they're all friends, and they step on the field together, and the bond is just unbelievable, I think. And I do think that club lacrosse and high school lacrosse is a great balance for all the girls, because they don't get sick of each other. You know, they're on their club team, they're friends with all the club girls, and then it shifts gears to high school lacrosse, and the balance is perfect. You know, they learn tons of things on both teams, and I have girls, we come to practice and they're like, oh, we ran this play with my club team and we tried out and it works. You know, so I think that it's great for the girls to be bringing what they learn in high school to their club team, and then vice versa. Yeah.
Do you notice that at Harborfields, a lot of the girls that play for you and your team, they've been together ever since they're like really, really little?
Yeah, our girls have been playing like PAL together forever. They don't play on the same club team. I mean, I have a few that are on the same club team, but for the most part, they all play on different club teams. So which is awesome because, they get to experience playing with different competition. They play against different girls. So they step on my field and they're excited to get playing again together.
You mentioned, which I think is really smart, girls taking stuff from high school, bringing it to club, vice versa. Do you feel as though you do the same thing as a coach? Like, do you ever take something that you learn at Stony Brook, bring it down to Harborfields?
I feel like everything, and even FLG, I mean, some of the things that we do with them in the winter and the fall, I bring those drills right over. And same thing with the plays. And I think it's important to continue, we want our players to continue to grow, but I feel like as coaches, we have to continue to grow. And the only way that happens is by incorporating new things. So it's important. Yeah.
So for you, Diana, do you feel as though your growth as now a college lacrosse coach is something that you're approaching where you're going to be doing a master's program? What is that focusing on? Like, what are you doing that program in? What is it technically?
It's an athletic administration master's. So hopefully one day I could be some type of administrator, whether it's a athletic director of a high school or maybe I'm the Title IX coordinator at a college. You never know. Options are wide open.
Gotcha. Do you feel as though you have that same approach though, where you need to do everything you can to try to become the best coach you can be?
Yeah, I definitely think that you always want to be, you don't want to be old school because the girls' game has changed so much even since I started playing.
Yeah.
Especially because there's all the different levels. So as you progress with your players, you need to also do that as a coach. Whether it's finding a new drill or creating a new play, then you need to figure it out. Creativity happens on the chalkboard also.
Yeah, cool. Let's talk real quick about the recruiting side of things. So, Di, you're going through with the 20s.
Yeah.
What is it like as a club coach dealing with players that are going through the process, and what do you kind of do to just help? Anything?
Yeah. So I tell the girls every time I see them, if you have a question, come ask me. If you don't know what to do, come ask. It can't hurt, right? But I tell them, don't jump at the first thing that comes at you because it's funny. It's like shopping for a prom dress. You need to do your research, you need to find what works for you, but you need to look at the things that are going to fit you best and how it's going to suit your needs, whether it's a major you're looking for or if you're looking for a certain type of style of play you want. You have to find what's important for yourself, and everyone's different. No one's going to be the same.
Do you look for good value when you're shopping for prom dresses?
Absolutely. You have to look for value in everything you buy, whether you're going for a good value education or maybe you picked your school because you know what, I really like this coach, or maybe you know what, the team, when you met them, you instantly had that bond. All that stuff matters.
Yeah.
So for you, Jess, it's unique because you're helping all your girls obviously through Harborfield, so you deal with every age group, and then FLG, you coach the 9th graders. Can you talk about the difference between what's going through the mind of a 9th grade family and girl versus a girl who's like a 2020 or 2019?
I feel that now it's just like everyone wants to get the ball rolling, and as a coach, you kind of have to take a step back, I have girls that are in 9th grade, 8th grade on my high school team that are talking to me about schools, and I'm like, let's just play your game, and in a couple of years, let's see, 1 year can change things, 2 years can change things. So I feel that getting the conversation started is okay when they're younger in 9th grade, but you kind of want to hold off because you don't really know how things are going to pan out.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like for me personally, I was I'm going so far away. I need I'm going to a school so far away because that was, the cool thing to do. And then all of a sudden it hit me in reality and I'm like, I'm staying close.
At what point were you like, wait, I'm not going to Arizona State. I'm going to probably go to a school a little bit closer?
It's actually funny because they didn't have the recruiting rules that they have now when I was, going through the process. So I verbally committed so early. I think it was my beginning of my 10th grade year, and I committed to Stony Brook to play lacrosse, and I signed and whatever, and then I was like, I want to run track, I don't want to play lacrosse, and I decommitted. And I still joke with Coach Selena about it, and he's like, I can't believe you decommitted, and gave up everything. And then I went on 7 recruiting visits for track.
Yeah.
And then finally I woke up and I'm like, what am I doing? Lacrosse is my thing. And then I called him back, and thank God he, he was like, all right, you're fine.
That's awesome.
But I feel like it's changed, and I'm happy that the rules have changed because that's probably happened, tons of times. And people jump to, like you said, the first option that they get, and it's not necessarily the right one, but taking your time and seeing every aspect of the school, because at the end of the day, lacrosse is a big part of your life, but it's not the only part.
Yeah, no, that's interesting. You might be the first and only player to commit, decommit, commit in history, but
funny.
No, it's good. You got to figure out, you know, where
Yeah.
you're going to be most successful, both on the field and as
Yeah.
a student, and then personally.
Yeah.
And like for you now, like becoming a teacher,
Yeah.
you know, on Long Island, like Stony Brook couldn't have been a better place
Yeah.
to just go to school. Forget about lacrosse for a second,
Yeah,
right?
and,
Like,
and it was awesome. I mean, it's awesome because I lived on campus, so I still got that feel, you know, of being away. But, you know, I was able to go home on Sundays and do my thing at home, and I got a great education. And, you know, I just feel that you have to find your right fit.
yeah.
And I did, luckily.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. So let's talk about for you two as coaches, what's important to you? Like, you know, as a coach, it's important to obviously have core values and cornerstones and things. You talk about like wanting to improve in different facets as a coach. What are some of those things, and why are they important to you? Di, you can start.
I definitely try to instill in players, even when I was a player with everyone, I would say, work on the things you can control, whether it's in a game or at practice. So I have 4 things, and the girls call it EAF. It's your energy, your effort, your focus, and your fun. And if you're not having fun, are you really doing it the right way? No. So that's something to keep in mind. But you can't control a ref. You can't control a parent who's yelling at you. But what you can control are those things on the field. And your energy could be put into doing wall ball at home, or your effort into watching more lacrosse or playing more lacrosse. You know, there's so many different things you can focus on. It's just finding what works for you also.
Why is fun so important?
Fun. Well, I still have fun going to lacrosse. I've seen girls who go to college maybe for the wrong reason to play lacrosse, because they feel like they have to. And if you're not enjoying it, it's bringing your team down, it's bringing morale down. But why are you doing that to yourself, you know? You should enjoy your time. It's supposed to be the best time of your life, college. Go make memories. You should be having fun playing with your club team, staying with your friends, keeping in touch, making those memories too. I remember playing club. I loved it. I still talk to some of those girls. That's important. If you don't enjoy it, what are you doing? It's not a job yet.
Yeah. Do you feel as though coaches can help like bring that fun aspect to the field and to their players?
Definitely. I think every player is different, and as a coach, you should know that going into it.
Yeah.
So you have some girls who are like, I need you to yell at me. And it's like, really? Yeah, okay. Where you may have someone else who, if you yell at me, I can't handle it, I don't like it, I'm
Yeah.
not having fun anymore. So knowing the different things that bring out fun, whether it's you have the 12-year-olds and you do the classic water balloon toss to see who can really crank it out there with the stick work. I mean, little things like that totally make a difference.
Yeah.
For you, Jess, what's important to you as a coach? And I think Di made an interesting point about every player being different. Do you kind of notice the same thing?
Yeah,
with all the players you
definitely. I
coach?
mean, I don't think I coach, you know, 2 girls the same way on my team and on either team. I feel that you have to figure out as a coach, and I think that's one of the hardest parts of coaching is figuring out how that you're going to get the most out of that player. And I feel that I've learned how to do that based on how I was coached through the years, and I think that it's an important aspect. But fun is definitely an important part, because I feel like everyone gets wrapped up at some point in just, you know, eye on the prize, I gotta get recruited, you know, I have to score 5 goals, 4 assists, the coach is gonna be there, and then you take a step back and it goes so quick. So if you don't enjoy those moments and have fun and you know, build up a relationship with your teammates, then you kind of didn't really get much out of it.
Yeah.
And I think that I really instill on my teams, both high school and with FLG, the whole teammate aspect. I think it's important to bring, you know, let the girls know that, like, you're a team. Everything we do, you know, is together. And actually with my high school team, all the girls read the John Gordon book. I don't know if you've, The Hard Hat.
Yeah, sure.
Yep, love it.
So we, everyone reads the book in the beginning of the season. They write, you know, something in the book. And then after every game, we give out a hard hat, an actual hard hat, and they sign the hard hat. Coach Spalina did it over at Stony Brook, but it's awesome because, you know, it brings all the girls together. We talk about the book. We have all of, you know, the 21 ways to be a great teammate up on our wall, and it's just an important thing that you could bring with you for the rest of your life, not just on the field.
Well, what's interesting, you're both were defenders when you
Yeah.
played. How do you get noticed as a defender, right? You can't score and get assists.
Yeah.
Like what would you do to separate yourself? And also, talk a little bit about like when you decided, hey, being a defender is the best position for me. Because there's girls, we have girls in our program that are like in 4th, 5th grade, and they're like, I want to be a defender. We're like, okay, but we still got other areas of the game to improve on. Like, when is it okay to be like, defense is my position? Or
It's that classic know your role moment. if you can help your team and you need to play defense, that's a
Yeah.
part of being a good teammate. You get a lot of girls that were the goal scorer, or maybe you play a different position from one team to another. It's okay for your role to change if you're helping the team in that sense. And it should feel better that you're still contributing in that sense.
Yeah.
For me, I always liked defense. I don't know if it was my
Yeah.
coaches putting in my brain, but they were like, oh, you make a stop? Like, that's even better than scoring a goal.
Yeah.
That's even harder to do, which in some ways, sure. Other ways, scoring a goal is really tough to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Goes
I
both
feel
ways.
like I was just always, wanted to be the aggressive side of things, and that was a big part of, why I changed to defense. And I also feel that when I was in, 5th and 6th grade, there was 20 attackers on the team.
Right.
And I'm
Yeah.
like, so it's either I play attack and play
Yeah.
3 minutes the game,
Right.
or I go to defense and, don't come off the field. And I also feel like for me, getting a knockdown, I was like, that is so much better than a goal.
That's a great
It's like
feeling. if you
shoving
knock
it in
down a
someone's
pass.
face and you're just, run.
like-
Yeah, so I feel like you have to just kind of know your role, but then you buy into it.
Yeah. It's I like how you brought up the opportunity, because I even noticed, like, with our FLG girls, when we run
Yeah.
like our small group training,
Yeah.
we have the different stations.
Yeah.
You have like 8 girls that decide to go to the D station
Yeah.
with like 4 coaches, and it's
Right.
like, all right, well, those girls are going to get like a ton of reps and get
Yeah.
so much better.
Yeah.
And it's a good opportunity to train, develop, and they get more playing time.
Yeah.
So I agree. I think when players embrace that, they
Yeah.
tend to
It's funny.
take off.
It's funny because in the end, the attacker who gets to play in the long run is the girl who could play the best defense and
Yeah.
can ride her way down the field.
Yeah.
That's what happens. Everyone has to play some
yeah.
form of defense. And defense has a lot of room to improve on, just on like footwork and watching yourself and learning from that.
Yeah, no doubt. So there's a lot of parents, as we mentioned earlier, that are figuring out, like, hey, what club program might be a good fit for me? Let's talk about just you, because all we can really talk about is your experiences, you as coaches,
Yeah.
what drew you to FLG, and, why do you kind of coach for us, and why do your philosophies align with, like, what we're about and what you guys are about, so some parents can understand, like, what FLG is about, and if there's other programs like FLG in their area, maybe those are some good options for them to explore.
So I came to FLG looking to coach club lacrosse because I was playing in college and I thought maybe I want to be a college coach at the time. And I came to FLG and I jumped right in. I got lucky. I had a good group of girls, and your philosophies of trying to make the kid better, make them a good person first, was definitely something for me, because at the end of the day, lacrosse will end.
Yeah.
But being a good person, that will last your whole lifetime.
Yeah,
And that was important to me.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah, I feel definitely. I mean, your philosophies are awesome. From the first day that I came and talked to you guys, I'm like, this
Yeah.
is what you guys have going is awesome.
Yep.
And it's in a lot of people's backyard. I feel like the game has grown. It's gotten bigger. The amount of club teams is growing.
Yeah.
I feel like now I hear these club teams and I'm like, wait, you're on Long Island, because
Right.
there's just so many.
Sure.
I just feel that FLG is a real team atmosphere. It's like a family.
Yeah.
Everyone bounces ideas off of each other, both on the boys and the girls side. The fact that it's all year round.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
keeping the girls together is a big factor, because a lot of the girls don't pick up their stick in the fall unless they had, practices, small group training, breaking things down. I think that's an important part, because
Yeah.
if you don't fix those little things, it's not going to add up to the big
Yeah.
picture.
No, I appreciate that, and I agree. And I think what attracted us to getting coaches like yourselves involved in the program is because we see that. We see how
Yeah.
passionate you are, how organized you are, how much better you want to get. And I think when you build a community of coaches like that, you can do some special stuff, because, like you
Yeah.
said, you bounce ideas off one another, you work together, and then in turn the girls benefit, because they're now getting mentored and coached by just amazing coaches all over the place, and it's just a really good vibe. So I think for a parent that's thinking about it, there's like an explosion of players, of girls that are starting to pick up sticks earlier and earlier and start to play,
Yeah.
which means more players are playing and there's more opportunity. So I think convenience is obviously important.
Yeah.
Is there a club in your backyard? But also, like, what does that club represent? Like, what do they stand behind? Like, is
Yeah.
that in line with what your family's about? And I think if it
Right.
is, then you should consider them.
Yeah.
And yeah,
One of our viewers has asked, I guess their child had won a number 19 jersey, and they wanted to, have you explain what that is and what that means to the FLG program.
yep. The Red 19. Di, you want to talk about the Red 19?
I love the Red 19. I love the idea behind it. You can go look up the video about it too if you don't know. But the red bandana, the boy in the red bandana, relates to 9/11. And Wells Crowther was a lacrosse player in college. He's from Nyack, right?
Yep, Nyack,
Yeah.
New
He's
York.
from Nyack, New York. And he's kind of what we try to instill in our kids, right?
Yep.
You know, work hard, do the other things that matter, not just lacrosse, be a good person. But he saved several people's lives, specifically on 9/11, because he had some firefighter training, but he was working in the Twin Towers at the time, and he was selfless, and I think that's something to instill in someone early on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a good way to reinforce kind of like the intangibles, like you said,
Yeah.
maybe not the goal and the assist, but
Right.
what are the things that make you, you know,
Yeah.
such an important part of a specific team?
Yeah.
So we try to reinforce that through that 19 jersey.
Yeah.
Kind
Yeah.
of the defenders on the team.
What's that?
It's the defenders.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's the players that understand that the ground ball, the knockdown is just as important
Yeah.
as any other statistic. So
Yeah, and I think that even, you know, it's important for the girls that don't start and play every single minute of the
Right.
game to
Yeah.
know that, you know, you were a vital part.
Yeah.
And I feel that every person should feel some sense of, you know, belonging to the team, because
Absolutely.
it's not just, you know, the players that are starting, you know, when the whistle blows. It's
Yeah.
the whole team and,
Yeah.
and everything. And the parents, I mean, the parents on FLG are awesome.
Yeah.
I feel like it's brought the team, it's crazy. I love the atmosphere. It's awesome.
yeah, it's how it should be. You know, I think
Yeah.
like parents just kind of need to be supportive. It's really
Yeah.
that simple, and I feel like, you know, competitiveness gets in the way, and you know, people kind of get caught up in the wrong things,
Yeah.
and then that's when I think the culture of like a program, a club program, or a specific team can really start going the other direction, because
Yeah.
then parents are talking negatively about the coaches, other players, and there's just kind of like no room for that. Or at least in our club, there isn't room for
Yeah.
that. Other clubs, there might be.
Right.
But it's you know, it's really, we're kind of speaking on behalf of our experience and what we
Yeah.
are. So for Jess, I guess I have a question for you. Like, you coach again, high school, club. Is club lacrosse for everybody? Like if a girl on your Harborfield team approached, hey, I'm thinking about, I want to play in college, like, and you know, or I want to, you know, I'm thinking about club lacrosse. Like, how do you decide if like, hey, go try out for a team?
Yeah.
Is kind of for you.
I feel that, you know, every person's different, and you definitely can get the same out of, you know, same experience out of playing club, and, you know, just versus just going to tons of camps and clinics and going that route.
Yeah.
Now there are so many different avenues that you can take and still get recruited and still go on to the next level. But I do think that club is an important part. I mean,
Right.
you learn to play with different girls. I think that's an important part, because you go to college, you're not playing with the same girls you just played in high school with.
Sure.
So club gives you a different experience and a different perspective, and, you know, it makes you realize, do I really love the game so much so that I'm going to go on and
Yeah.
play at the college
Yeah.
you know, level?
Yeah, no, that's
So
a
I
good
think
point.
it's important, but yeah, there are other opportunities to showcase yourself. The camps, clinics, I feel like you know, it's just growing.
Yeah.
So you can find camps, clinics anywhere now.
There's
anytime.
so many resources. Like
Yeah.
online, there's resources.
Yeah.
There's amazing websites you can go to
Yeah.
connect with college coaches, or just
Yeah.
going to a college like a prospect day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Stony Brook is
Yeah.
hosting a prospect day. Anyone can join.
Right.
If you go and impress the coaches, like you can get
Right.
recruited there.
Right.
I'm
So-
sure some of your teammates even
Yeah.
probably got recruited out of those.
Yeah, I feel that, you know, there's both sides of it. It's
Yeah.
important to play on club because of, you know, getting the experience to play with other girls, but yet again, it's not the only way that you're gonna,
Right.
you know, take your game to the next level.
Yeah, no doubt.
So I think everyone has to find where they fit best.
Yeah, I think too. One thing I just want to mention, we talked about the USA women's soccer team.
Yeah.
Just dominating the world.
Awesome.
I think like what that does for soccer though in America is
Yeah.
really good. Like there's probably millions, tens
Yeah.
of millions of girls out there watching television saying like, I want to be her one day, which is great.
Yeah.
But I also feel as though as the WPL picks up and more college games get televised,
Yeah.
more girls start to play, it's like, I want to be like her. You know,
Yeah.
I want to be like Jess and Diana as they're watching you compete for your college teams or professional, and like, I think that's great for the sport too.
Yeah.
So, you know, I guess if I'm a mom or dad and my daughter's like, hey, like I'm watching soccer, I want to play soccer, but I also like, hey, I was just watching Stony Brook, like I want to be like Kylie Ohlmiller.
Yeah.
Like, can you do both right now? If my daughter's in like 4th grade, like what do you recommend there?
Yeah.
It's tough. You have to find that right balance because in the long run, a lot of coaches like that multi-sport athlete.
Yeah.
So I definitely grew up, I played club soccer for a long time. I just kind of fell out of love with it really. And I picked up a field hockey stick and started doing that because that's where my heart was at that time. So I think as long as your child's still happy with what they're doing and you're not burning them out, because that matters too. You get girls who played a sport all these years, put in so many hours, we're getting up early, and then come college, maybe they're just, I'm kind of done with it. I put in my time already.
Yeah.
So as long as you're finding the balance, which is individual, you have to find your own mix. Maybe your friend can put in double the amount of you, but you don't need to do that many hours. You have to find your own balance with your own kid.
Cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I think it's important to play different sports. I mean,
Yeah.
I feel like there's so many different, not only just skill-based aspects, but you learn different things through different coaches and playing with different teammates, and it's important to play other sports. I mean, I feel like the best lacrosse players also play basketball because they have the great positioning.
Yeah.
So I feel that it is important to play those different sports and to see what you like, because you might be thinking lacrosse, and then you start, playing soccer or field hockey, and all of a sudden, your mind might change.
Yeah. Does that help you as a coach too? Because you coach field hockey.
Yeah.
Do you feel as though
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And I love to go see my girls play soccer and basketball throughout the year because you see them at a different, it's a whole different perspective.
Sure.
And you can tell, the girls that have great positioning in basketball also have great positioning in lacrosse.
Right.
And then, it connects. It all connects.
So we have about 5 minutes left. All right. So I always like to end it talking about like one piece of advice. What's one thing that stands out? Let's talk about if I'm a mom or dad, or if I'm a young girl that's watching this, and I want to get into lacrosse. I want to become great at it. I want to be like the girls that are playing on TV one day. What's one thing that they should be focusing on as a youth girl who's maybe just picking up a stick, or is has played a couple years and is getting super into it? Di, what do you think?
For the little girl who's never picked up a stick before, I'd say watch it, play it, learn to love it.
Yeah.
Just stick with everything that rolls with it because there's so much to enjoy.
How about a girl who's played for a couple years and is like, I want to be great at this, I'm into it?
Use your resources. With the internet now, with all the social media you can use, with something like this even, you can learn new drills that you can do in your backyard on 5 yards of grass.
Yeah.
Why not go and practice, right? TV is great, but that'll be there later, but daylight's ticking.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
How about for you, Jess?
I think it's important, and something I always, believed in is getting out of your comfort zone, because nothing good comes from staying where you're comfortable.
Yeah.
And getting out of your comfort zone is an important part. I think when you go outside and go for a run, it's easy just to go for a mile, when you're out of breath, but push it, go to the 2 mile, try to run 3 miles and just get out of your comfort zone. It's easy for you to go to the wall and just do 50 reps right and left, and then go in the car to get home and go to the beach. But I feel like it's important to put in that extra time, and it all pays off.
Yeah.
So getting out of your comfort zone is an important part, because you learn to be comfortable without being comfortable.
Yeah.
And I think that takes your game to the next level.
If my daughter's in 6th or 7th grade, is it too late to start playing lax?
Absolutely
way.
not.
You sure?
Yeah.
No way.
Okay.
It's lacrosse, hand-eye coordination. It's tough for the little girls. Sticks are
Yeah.
pretty big, but at that age, definitely not. Especially if you already played other sports.
Yeah.
Maybe you started to realize maybe that's not for me. Pick
Yeah.
up a lacrosse stick. You can get good at lacrosse on your own time very quickly if you put in the time.
And there are a ton of girls and like we said, resources out there. I mean, there are high school girls, college girls, girls that graduated from college that are just looking to help those younger ones. And, I love going to train girls. I feel like I get so much enjoyment out of it,
Sure.
Myself. I love seeing, players grow.
And then let's talk about if I have a daughter who's in high school. She's really serious about it. She's good.
Yeah.
She wants to maybe play club for the first time. She's playing for a club team. What's one piece of advice you can help her through the process?
I would say go do your great things all the time, but do the things that you're uncomfortable with or you don't know about as hard as you possibly can, because showing that kind of heart into something I think is so important.
Cool.
Yeah, I think it's, like we said, it's important, you know, to get out of that comfort zone.
Yeah.
And take it to the next level and embrace your role. You know, you might be playing midfields in high school, you go to, you know, your club in your summer and you're playing attack. Embrace your role and just run with it, because you know, that's how you're going to get the most out of anything.
Awesome. So before we close tonight, Coach Wink, you want to talk about when tryouts are, if any girl wants to come down and try out for an FLG team?
Yeah,
in late July?
so the FLG teams will try out on July 29th. It's a Monday, and it'll be at Breezy Park
In Huntington?
in Huntington. And you can get all the information off the website at flglacrosse.com. And if you have any questions, give us a call in the office, because we're there pretty much all the time when we're not on the field.
Sleep there.
Yeah, we sleep there.
We have couches there.
I feel like I sleep there.
It's happened.
For the summer months.
But more importantly is my advice to any mom or dad who's watching is marry your philosophies as a parent to the club's philosophies. Find a club that, you know, has similar philosophies to you as a mom or dad, and I think then your children will have a great experience.
I think these two coaches are pretty damn impressive. So if I had a
Thank
daughter
you.
in that age group, I know where she'd be trying out. And again, we have a lot of amazing coaches too that aren't here tonight, but are in the program, and that's just that's a huge part of our philosophies. Is like great coaching, you know, creates great atmosphere and culture and community and great mentors. Like our girls are really lucky to have you. So it's huge for us.
I want to do a shout out to our 2021 coach who just started the police academy, Brianna Wilson.
Yeah.
A great role model.
Shout out to Brie.
Awesome.
Another
Really
great
good role model.
Yeah.
And then next week, our focus is going to be on the boys side of things. So we're bringing in Nick Wall and Eric Dunn, who are two high school coaches that also coach in our program. So we'll be talking boys, but forget about them for this week. It's all about the girls.
Yeah.
Go USA.
USA.
So thank you for coming on
Thank you.
tonight.
Thanks
You
for
guys are
having
awesome. All right, and we can run the show close, Frank.